Well, Mavericks fans have been feeling themselves following their big off-season free agency period, which came on the heels of the team making it all the way to the NBA Finals for the first time since, which was nearly 15 years ago all of a sudden. And while that drought came to an end, Dallas has some unfinished business from last year as they try to actually finish that deal off this season and hoist their first trophy since, again, that legendary run back in 2011. And helping them along the way to achieving this goal was seemingly that aforementioned big free agency class they brought in that of course included Spencer Dinwiddie and Quentin Grimes. But the headlining star acquisition from the summer was easily five-time NBA All-Star and future Hall of Famer Klay Thompson, who was intended to be the third member of a vaunted Dallas Big Three, which of course includes Luka Doncic, fresh off of his third-place MVP finish in 2024, and Kyrie Irving. Unfortunately for the Mavericks and their fans, the only splash this half of the Splash Brothers has been making lately has been that of toilet water.
I got poopy.
Klay, of course, notoriously ended his legendary tenure with the Golden State Warriors this past summer following an epic dump he laid on the court during their play-in game against the Kings.
Diddly poo.
A 118-94 beatdown, a dynasty-destroying kind of ass-kicking, and in that game, Klay got all historic with it, dropping 0 points on 0 of 10 shooting and 0 of 6 from the three-point line in 31 minutes of play.
0.0.
Of course, that game was the culmination of what had been a pretty frustrating season for Klay, which included him coming off of the bench for the first time in his illustrious career. But despite some of the frustrating low points of last season, it was still a fairly productive year, although he did drop below 20 points per game for the first time since the 2013-2014 season, while dipping under 40% from the three-point line for only the second time in his 11-season career. Klay was still giving you 18 points a night. And the Mavericks, no doubt, are gambling that 0 for 10 goose egg diarrhea Thompson laid in his pants during the play-in game against Sacramento was just an anomaly. But then he made his triumphant Dallas debut in his first appearance in a Mavericks jersey earlier this week, a preseason matchup with the Clippers where Thompson promptly did it again, scoring 0 points on 0 of 9 shooting and 0 of 6 from the three-point line. Of course, word from the Mavs camp was all encouraging after the game, that they're not concerned, blah blah blah. But then just last night, Klay took the court in another preseason game against the Bucks, and while he was undeniably much better, scoring 11 points in just 17 minutes of play, it was still a less than inspiring shooting performance for Thompson as he went just 4 for 11 from the field. And the Mavericks are banking on Klay being close to some version of the Splash Brother making it rain threes versus toilet water in this upcoming season, as their lack of an impactful third scorer was glaring during the postseason a year ago. Yeah, that was when PJ Washington was the Mavs' third leading scorer. They also struggled mightily from the three-point line for large stretches of the postseason and had only 2 rotational players shoot over 39% from that distance during the playoffs, and that was fringe rotational players at best, Jaden Hardy and Maxi Kleber, both of which played less than 220 minutes total during Dallas's 22-game playoff run to the finals. Comparing that to the team that beat Dallas in the finals, the Boston Celtics, who had 6 players shooting above 39% on their roster during the playoffs, and that included several core rotational players such as Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Al Horford. Klay is going to be expected to help improve the outside shooting and be a source of reliability overall as a third scorer, amid a conference that, while the Mavericks won last year, is ever improving, especially with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who Dallas beat last season in the Western Conference semifinals in what was a very tight 6-game series, with both teams scoring the same number of points throughout it. Those Thunder have also significantly upgraded their roster this offseason, adding defensive ace Alex Caruso along with Isaiah Hartenstein, who is expected to miss 5 to 6 weeks with a hand injury, but those additions substantially bolster a squad which was already the second best team in the league last year, both based on record and net differential. This is while the natural maturation process alone will improve what was the youngest number 1 seed in NBA history last year. The Mavericks will tip off their regular season campaign with a little Texas showdown against the San Antonio Spurs next Thursday night, and we will get to see if regular season Klay has improved any from the recent playoff and preseason versions of himself, and if Dallas has any legitimate aspirations of breaking that 13-year title drought. They had better hope he does.